you doing? My name's Dave, and if you decided to grow your COVID beard a year later than everybody else too, you can call me Daveypoo, the mobile music minstrel. How you doing? That's right. Today, my beard and I are back, and we're in 8 Matrix, and we're comparing Hammond organ apps again. That's right. So, I've got Galileo 2 here by Yonac, I've got Hammond B-3X by IK Multimedia, and I've got the new VB3m here. I've been asked by some peeps on the Audio Bus forum what I think of VB3m, so I reached out to them and I said, hey, I'd like to try your app. And they said, hey, great, here's a code. And so I'm trying them out. About a year ago, I did a video, which I will link down below, and they'll put a little card up above, to compare Galileo 2 with, at that time, the brand new released Hammond B-3X by IK Multimedia. So I wanted to revisit it again now that another organ app has come out and see how they compare against each other. Now, let's go through a couple of things first. I am not going to be able to compare every single aspect of each of these apps. It would take me all day, and you don't have the patience for that, neither do I. So let's just get that out of the way. Secondly, I tried to set these apps up as close to each other from the Hammond organ perspective. What I mean by that is that they each have the same drawbar settings, they each have the same chorus settings, they each have the same Leslie settings, as best as I could get them. But what I chose not to do, I have not tried to craft these to sound like each other. I have edited each patch as little as possible. I'm doing it deliberately. A comment on my previous organ video was that, hey man, you didn't even bother to compare the Leslies, and you're right, I absolutely did not. Here's the thing, and I maintain this fact across all my videos. I don't want to waste your time sitting here diddling around trying to get these things to sound like each other. I believe that that's your job. My job for this is to show you, hey, here's what they sound like when you first pop them open. Which one grabs you the most? Which one do you feel the most in your soul? Which one is the most inspiring sound to you? And then go with that. If you want to spend the time, I am convinced that you could make any of these sound a lot more accurate, sound certainly much closer to each other. And then if you were to add that into a complete mix with a band and everything else, you know, I maintain you probably wouldn't be able to tell much of a difference in a mix. But that is not the point today. The point is to show off each of these engines as much as I can. So I'll do the best I can, but I'm not going to take all day because I want to save you guys some time. So let's just dive in right here. I've got my iRig Keys 37 Pro on the desk. I also have my Korg Nano Control 2 that's hooked up to control the drawbars. I've got my Moog EP3 expression pedal on the floor to give me some volume control. And that's about it. Single manual here. I'm just going to go through some of the settings. So I'm going to switch the MIDI input so that I can have everything hooked up at the same time, but I'm not constantly reconfiguring it every time I want you to hear something. Also, I have some V meters here. First thing I'm going to go through is I'm going to show you that they're set up at roughly the same volume. So any volume or loudness changes that you're going to hear as a result of the comparisons that we're going to do is all going to be generated within the app because of Leslie settings or something. So here's what the V meters look like at the top. We'll start with the G octave. Okay, that's Galileo. That's Hammond B-3X. That's VB3. Now, one thing to note, I have turned the Leslie off on Galileo and Hammond B-3X just to start. There is no way that I could find to turn off the VB3, so I've set that Leslie on break so that it's not spinning. But with VB3m, you are still hearing a speaker emulator. That might be some of the differences that you're hearing in the tones. Okay, so let's start here. Galileo 2, I've got the bottom 4 drawbars pulled out on the top manual here. My iRig keys is mapped to the upper manual. I have the vibrato off, chorus is off right now, but it is on C3. Percussion is off, and so this is what we get in the key of G. Okay. Switch to Hammond B-3X. Okay. I would say my first impression is that VB3m sounds better, but that's because it's got the Leslie on it and it's got a little drive on there and it doesn't sound so dry. Hammond and Galileo sound very similar to one another. That's Galileo. That's Hammond B-3X. Now, the difference that I hear is Galileo sounds brighter. There's also a high harmonic that I'm hearing in here. Way up on the top, like 2 octaves up from that, from the main harmonic here. It's really bright for Hammond, or I'm sorry, for Galileo too. I can still hear it when I listen very closely for Hammond B-3X, but I don't hear it quite as pronounced. It's more muted. There's more subtlety to the tone. Okay, they both sound like an organ, but Galileo sounds brighter. Okay, I think Hammond B-3X sounds a little woollier. You know, I don't know. And then B-3X. So let's turn on some Leslie settings here so we can get a more fair comparison. The big difference that I noticed in my last comparison was with Galileo, I felt like the main differentiator between it and Hammond B-3X was the Leslie. I didn't feel like Galileo's Leslie was quite as rich. So let's go to FX now. There are 2 rotary speakers in Galileo 2. There's Rotary Box Classic. That's the same rotary speaker that they were using in Galileo 1. And then there's 2122, which is their new updated rotary. So in my last demo, I used 2122 exclusively. We're going to start with that one since that's the newer one, and I think it sounds better. So here, let's go to Slow Leslie. Let's get this hooked up here. Let's make sure I've got that turned on. There we go. Okay, by itself, that sounds fine to me. The Leslie maybe sounds a little fast, but that sounds fine to me. Here's the deal. If you were to give me a glass of red wine today, and then you were to give me a totally different glass of red wine next week, and then 2 weeks after that, you were to give me a totally different red wine, I would not be able to tell the difference. I don't have a taste for red wine in such a way that I can tell one from the other without having them right next to each other. But if I have 3 glasses of wine in front of me and I get to taste each one right next to each other, right after one another, then I can absolutely tell the difference. The same is true here. By itself, this sounds fine to me. I could jam on this and have a grand old time. I'd get used to it in about 10 minutes and I'd be having a blast. Where I notice the failures in Galileo is when I start to compare it to the others. So okay, now let's go to Hammond. I have to go to the cabs and I have to turn the DI off and I have to turn the Leslie on to make sure that's on slow. So, and then we make sure it's on. Okay, let's see. Again, I feel like Hammond B-3X sounds fuller and richer than Galileo, which sounds a little sterile. It's almost too clean for me. Now, there are other organ models in here. This app models more than one Hammond. You can see here, you had a 1971 A100, a 1960 A100. A100 had a different style casing on the outside. It was a spinette case with built-in speakers, whereas the B3 did not. The B3 had open legs. The only real difference, though, is the case. The mechanics on the inside are exactly the same. So you have a 71 A100, a 60 A100, a 56 B3, to 55 B3, and they all sound subtly different, but I don't want to get too far into the weeds with comparisons. I had to sort of cut myself off somewhere to have this make sense. So, that was B3X. Let's try VB3m. So, go to the effects. And now, one thing I will note is that their rotary switch, if I just all the rotary switch knobs are automatically MIDI mapped to the mod wheel here on my keyboard. But I like that VB3m has a mid position where it's at stop in the mid position, so I don't have to map a separate control. That's kind of nice. So anyway, here, let's go to slow. I like it. It sounds a lot more organy, as silly as that sounds, than Galileo. Again, comparatively. Right? That's got some grit in there, but it's so bright. Whereas, but that being said, compared to Hammond B-3X, okay, admittedly, also, the Hammond B-3X does not have the grit right now that the other two apps do. I have not dialed in any sort of distortion here. It is a much cleaner sound, but I still feel like it sounds fuller and more rich. Okay, I'm going to go back to Galileo now. Oops. I'm going to go back to Galileo now, and I'm going to try the other Leslie speaker. Let's go here. Slow, fast. So... this Leslie speeds up and slows down too fast. Now, you can adjust that, but just by default, it speeds up and slows down way too fast. And the fast is too fast. Oops, let's turn that off. Go back to the other one. I like the gain on that, but it's they still, to me, don't sound quite right. This sounds too thin. It sounds better, but it still sounds too bright to me. But I'm going to leave the 2122 on because overall I feel like that sounds better. Let's bring in the high. And I'm going to turn on the vibrato. We'll give it that really watery, cool. All right, so now let's try that same setting here. Turn the vibrato on, and we pull the top drawbar out, and we go with oh, did I have that on the whole time? Oh, I'm sorry if I did. Well, mistakes were made, kids. I'm not perfect. I apologize. So let's try it now with this on. Man, this app just sounds fantastic. Let's go back again. A lot more gain. A lot more gain. A lot faster, Leslie. Okay. How does Hammond, or how does VB3 behave with the vibrato on? On C3 again. Very, very meaty. I do like that the Leslie is stereo. You can hear it going back and forth. Oh, I didn't pull out the high. No wonder it's a little duller. Man, I'm terrible today. Nice. I like VB3 a lot. It is it's a nice step up from Galileo without the step all the way up to Hammond B-3X. Okay, I'm gonna try one more thing here. Let's go back to Galileo. Let's do a totally different drawbar setting here. We're gonna scoop out the middle here. We'll do kind of this sort of thing. Right? I'm guessing it's gonna be approximate, guys. And then we're going to turn the percussion on. Third harmonic. So we get... You know what? Do this, actually. That way you can really hear the percussion. Okay. So we got this. Okay. That's the percussion. Let's hear that same on Hammond B-3X. So we're going to take those down, bring that out. We're going to turn the percussion on. It's on 3. Again, I can't escape that idea that Hammond B3, or I'm sorry, Galileo 2 is just too bright. Okay, and lastly, VB3, we turn on the percussion, is on fast, it's on third. We drop those back, and we pull this one out, and we do this. All right, let's hear those just next to each other. Slow Leslie. Let's make sure that's slow Leslie. Wow, that Leslie is so fast. And that chorus is so present. And there's some sort of room reverb going on in there that I can hear. Or cab reverb, maybe. Sounds good. Anyway, I've already been talking for, well, 25 minutes, maybe more than that. Here's my 2 cents. I think they rank Hammond B3 is my favorite. Hammond B-3X. VB3m is my second favorite, and Galileo 2 is my third. I think Galileo 2 has been outgrown. I think it was excellent when it first came out, and a lot of people like Galileo 1 better than Galileo 2. I don't have a preference. I just lump them together into the Galileos. I think Galileo was great when it came out, but it's been surpassed by Hammond B-3X. And then VB3, it sounds really good. It sounds more natural to me than Hammond B-3X. So for those of you who are not Hammond organ enthusiasts who need the most nerdiest of nerdy organ apps, then, you know, maybe VB3 is the one for you. Couple of notes. This does not scale. Watch this. If I go like this. So that's a big problem. I'm not a big fan of that. I kind of wish this the graphics scaled. You know, the graphics are also, as you can see, they're not high def. That would be nice. A reskin would be cool. It's got some basic effects. It's got some reverb on here. Is pretty, you know, it's a reverb. Got some presets. Very basic settings. Keyboard splits. The actual keyboard. I mean, it's pretty slim. It doesn't come with a whole lot of extras. It is what it is. But it sounds good. I don't even know if I'm hearing that. one. Yep. Anyway, Hammond B-3X comes with a ton of stuff. It comes with all sorts of effects. It comes with a guitar cab. It comes with different Leslie speakers. I mean, man, there's all sorts of stuff in here. Setup, Leslie amp. Yeah, you can choose between different Leslie amplifiers. You've got post effects. It's a fantastic app. Just great. I think these effects are probably the same ones you get in Mixbox. So, you know, that's maybe another video, is pairing up Galileo with the Leslie and Mixbox and seeing how that is. But that's for another day. We're going on 30 minutes here. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you like this look back at the Hammond apps. That's Galileo 2 by Yonac, Hammond B-3X by IK Multimedia, and VB3m by GSI. I will have links to all of them down in the description below. Please comment and let me know which ones you like best. And hey, if you like this sort of video, give it a thumbs up. The thumbs up really helps the channel. It helps the algorithm recommend me to more people so that more people see my stuff and you get more videos. They're cooler and better, bigger budget, and all that kind of craziness. So please give it a thumbs up if you like to. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Go check me out on Facebook. Go check me out on Instagram. Check me out on Twitter. I'm also at Daveypoo.bandcamp.com, where you can get all your Daveypoo needs fulfilled, man. There's like 13 albums up there, and they're all for free. And then there's a couple other songs that are like $1 each. So tons and tons of music. Daveypoo.bandcamp.com. Go check it out. Check out these 3 apps. Thank you, GSI, for sending me this. It's really nice. I really like it. I give it a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time. Later, baby.